All right, guys, welcome to another episode. My name's Orlando.
And I'm Omar,
We're the Smart Bros.
and this is the Smart Take.
All right, guys, we're back. Episode 2 of season 2. The Giants game ended, but I mean, honestly, there wasn't really much we could even say about it. We went out there and straight demolished the Giants, 40-0. Our defense completely dominated. Our offense dominated in what they needed to. We weren't airing the ball out. Aren't going to be throwing the ball downfield when you have a lead like that. You're just going to be running the ball, and that's exactly what we did. The Giants honestly had nothing for us. I mean, what are your thoughts on that game?
No, yeah, you hit it right on the nose. There was not much that they could do. The defense set the tone early, and people can say, "Oh, Dak didn't score this and that," but we still had 18 points as an offense. I mean, it's just the fact that he could also have those. We get to the one and push it in like the Eagles, but not 30 with one out of 32 teams are going to hand that to a running back, let them get their stats. And the guy Dak is, he doesn't even care as long as the team is winning. We're going to hand that ball to the running back. We even pitched it to Cavante Turpin to get him his first official NFL touchdown. So I like what I saw. We that's a way to go out and set the tone. Some could say that's put the league on notice, and it's always good to beat a divisional rival like that, and in that kind of fashion. So I was pretty happy with our performance. I mean, I would have liked Dak to have scored, but hey, as I'm a win first guy, so I was pretty happy with it. But let's just go ahead and since, like you said, there's not much to talk about for that game. It was just complete demolition. Let's just go ahead and say what prediction did you get right from that game?
All right, so right off the back, we had our score prediction. I predicted the score would be 41-18, and if you don't count that extra point that we missed, I would have hit our score right on the head, and then I couldn't have predicted the Giants would go out there and pull fat donuts. So props to our defense for making my prediction not be as accurate as it could have been. And then for stat predictions, I predicted that Dak would throw for 385 and 3 touchdowns. And we all gave him the defense went out there, took the lead early. So after that, we're not just going to be throwing the ball. So I'm okay with being completely wrong on that stat prediction. We'll see how his stat. We'll see what his stat against the Jets. I'm not I mean, obviously it'd be great, but I'm not predicting our defense to go out there and just dominate them like that. Just from from their first drive, the Giants literally could do anything. We blocked a field goal for a touchdown on their first drive down the field. So then I predicted that Tony Pollard would have 85 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. I was pretty close, 15 yards off. He had 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then predicted CD would have 115 yards, 1 touchdown with 8 catches. And that kind of ties into Dak stats. With when we have a lead like that, we're not going to be throwing the ball. We're not going to just even be putting him in harm's way like that. His biggest catch was, I think it was for around 45, 46 yards, or something like that early in the game. And that was one of his only targets for the majority of the game. It was just when you're up by that much, you just honestly don't need to even open your playbook. They don't want to give the Jets any film on what we'll be doing against them because, I mean, why would they? I predicted that Micah would have 2 sacks, and I counted it as I mean, obviously, I'm not the NFL stat sheet, so but I always thought that even though there was a play where the Giants they had a bad snap, they had to run back, and then my first person back there to make sure Daniel Jones was down. But that I guess that technically doesn't count as a sack, but we only had one instead of the two I picked. So I mean, I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt on that one. I predict that D-Law would have a sack, which he did, and then I knew our defense, our secondary would have an interception, at least one, but I thought it'd be either Diggs first, and it turned out to be Stephon Gilmore and Deron Blank who got the pick. So I mean, I was right about getting picks. I was just wrong about who would be getting them. But what were your predictions like?
I predicted that the Cowboys would win 35-17. Clearly, they won 40-0, which I'm okay with being wrong about. Love 40 burgers, the best kind of burgers. Like you said, the Giants just really couldn't do much. I predicted Dak would have 305, 3 touchdowns with one of them rushing. He only had 143, no touchdown, but that was more of a credit to our defense. I feel like, like you said, you don't want to break up your old playbook if you don't have to. I thought TP would have 65 yards rushing, 20 receiving, two total touchdowns. He had 70 yards rushing, 12 receiving, two touchdowns, so pretty close. I thought CD would have 105, a touchdown and 10 rushing yards. He only had 77 yards, zero touchdowns, zero rushing. I thought our tight ends would have 30 yards combined in a touchdown, but we only had 11. We had some tight end drop, and we could have had a touchdown from the tight end, but it was a drop. So, but I think that they will clean that up for sure. I thought Michael had two sacks and a forced fumble. Like you said, he had that one sack, but he definitely should have had two. Maybe they need to change that rule or figure something out or appeal it. I thought D-Law would have a sack. He did. I thought Gilly would have two pass breakups. He had three pass defense and a pick. And I thought Daves would have one pick and three PBUs, but he had zero picks, one pass defense, or PBU, but he had two forced fumbles, one leading to a pick six, the other one leading to we just got the ball back. Um, but that's pretty much all we really have for the Giants. We just want to give a little preview to the Jets game. It's tomorrow, 3:25, game of the week, of course. Prayers out to Aaron Rodgers. Sucks that he's not going to play. I really did want to play him. Don't get me wrong. Like Zach Wilson's still an NFL quarterback, so he still got to go out there and perform. But I did want, because now people are going to try to make excuses, and I truly believe that we were going to beat them regardless. But hope he gets better soon. Maybe he'll come back next year. Maybe he won't. He had a great career, so kudos to him. But for my predictions for the Jets, I have first of all, I have us winning 35-7. I think Dak will throw for 290 and three touchdowns. I think TP will have 85 total yards and a touchdown. I think CD will break that 100 mark and go for 105 and a touchdown. And since Brandon Cooks, we don't know if he's playing yet. They say he's dealing with some MCL. He might be game time decision. I think we might sit him, especially because Aaron Rodgers isn't playing. So I think Gallup steps into that receiver two role like he once was and go for 70 yards. I'm not sure if he'll score. And I think since the tight ends had some drops, we'll have a tight end touchdown for sure. And then on the defensive side, I think Michael will have two sacks and a forced fumble. I think Diggs or Gilly will get a pick because I just feel like you gotta throw. You're not gonna be able to, And who do you want to throw it at? Not sure. And then I think we'll have four total takeaways. Whether I don't know how that'll be, but that defense is truly showing me something. Whether that's two picks, two forced fumbles, a blocked punt, blocked kick. Like I just feel like we're gonna have a great defensive day again, and I'm really excited for tomorrow. How about you? What are your predictions?
So before I get into my prediction, I just want to touch on some of the stuff you said. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, but I mean, you can ask anybody who I've talked to. This is definitely a game even before the season that I had penciled in as a win. I think that I think while the Jets have a lot of potential to be really good this year, I think just the way our team is constructed and the way our team, just the mentality that I've seen from our team, I think that some of these like the really good teams that the rest of the league kind of expects us to lose to, I think that our team will be making an even more effort to like prove a lot of people wrong, to show that we can beat good teams. And so I feel like even now with Aaron Rodgers being hurt, I feel like you said there'll be a lot of excuses after the game, but I feel like our players, they have the mentality right now where they don't care who's out there on that other side of the field. They were looking to dominate no matter who it was going to be. So I feel like even now, I feel like they're not even taking this game off because it'll be Zach Wilson. I feel like they'll be just as hungry, just as motivated, and go out there and get that win. And I also want to touch on the fact that the Jets played their first game of the season was against the Bills. Aaron Rodgers got hurt pretty much, I think, on like the fourth play from once the game started, and the Jets still went out there and won that game against the Buffalo Bills, who most people say is one of the top ranked teams. Most people have Josh Allen as a top three quarterback, and they just completely shut them down. That Zach Wilson wasn't expecting to play in that game. So offensively, I wasn't really surprised that they weren't really able to get much going, but defensively, they made Josh Allen look very bad. That's just going to be blunt with it. He looked like a very bad quarterback out there, and I just want the league and fans to just keep that same energy. If Dak Prescott goes out there and demolishes the same defense that made Josh Allen look that bad, I want people to just keep the same energy when it comes to quarterback ratings and how you're judging certain players on what they're doing out there on the field. Because if Dak played a game that bad, I already know just how Cowboy haters, how ESPN, how even some Cowboys fans would be treating him right now. And so I just want the league and everyone out there watching these games to keep the same energy. But to go on to my predictions, I think that to go on to my predictions, I think that Dak will have a bounce back game in terms of we will actually need him to play well. We'll need him to throw the ball some in this game. I think he'll have 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think Tony Pollard will have 80 yards, a touchdown. Like you said, we had a couple tight end drops in that first game against the Giants, one of them being a touchdown. So I feel like with the weather won't be as bad. We'll be at home in the dome even if the weather is bad. So there won't be any weather predicaments to hinder any of our players. So I think our tight ends will clean that up and have a touchdown. I think CD will have 80 yards, 1 touchdown, 7 catches. And then with Brandon Cooks being questionable, I agree. I don't think they'll play him in this game with Aaron Rodgers not playing. I feel like they think our defense is good enough to completely shut them down, and that our offense, even with Michael Gallup as our number 2, is good enough to put some points on the board. So I think we'll be seeing a big game from Michael Gallup, especially with Sauce Gardner being on the other team and him. If they're smart, they'll have Sauce Gardner and CD as much as they can. So which would not just leave Michael Gallup open, but it'll make Dak definitely be looking at him a little bit more. So I think he'll have 75 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 catches. I think Mike will have 2 sacks in this game, 2 actual sacks. I think he'll be wreaking havoc on that O-line because, to be honest, the Jets O-line might be even worse than the Giants O-line. So I think their O-line as a whole will be in for a rude awakening when our defensive line gets across from them. I think that D-Law will have another sack. And then this time, I think our secondary will be getting picks, and I think it'll be Trayvon Diggs who will want to get in on the party. And then I think Malik Hooker will make up because he should have had one against the Giants, and he knows this himself. He completely hit him right in his hands, and he dropped it. So I think he'll be looking to make up for that and get a pick. For a final score prediction, I'm thinking we win this game 30-7. I think somebody might finally put some points on our defense, and they're not going to like that too much, so they're not going to let it happen again. So I think we'll win this game 30-7.
Yeah, that's valid, man. So we're pretty much as close. I had 35-7. You said 37. So we will recap this video after the game. Maybe we'll have another 2-parter, prediction / recap if we go out and do what we're supposed to do. But that's about it for this episode. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing, keep supporting. We appreciate you. But yeah, take us out.
All right, guys, I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar.
We're the Smart Bros.
And this is the Smart Take.